Have you ever looked at a giant ship and noticed the same strange detail? Almost everyone has a red bottom. It is not just a design choice. That red strip has been protecting ships for centuries. From a distance, it looks like simple paint. But below the waterline, it becomes a survival tool. To understand it, we have to go back to the age of wooden ships. The ocean was beautiful but brutal. A slow wooden ship was basically a floating buffet. Tiny sea creatures attacked the hull every day. Algae and seaweed grabbed onto the wood first. Then barnacles built hard shells across the surface. The worst enemy was the shipworm. It bored into wooden hulls and quietly ate them from inside. Sailors called this problem fouling, and fouling could ruin an entire voyage. A few barnacles sound harmless, but thousands of them added weight and drag. A badly fouled ship moved slower, turned worse, and burned more time crossing the ocean. In trade, speed meant money. In war, speed could mean life or death. So shipbuilders searched for a way to keep the ocean from eating their ships. By the late 1700s, they found a powerful answer: copper. They nailed thin sheets of copper onto the bottom of wooden ships. Changed everything. Copper reacts with seawater in a way that is toxic to many small marine organisms. Barnacles struggled to attach. Worms could not chew through the protected hull. The ship stayed cleaner, lighter, and faster. For sailors, that was a massive advantage. But copper had another visual effect. Underwater protection started to look reddish and metallic. Then the industrial age arrived, which gave way to iron and steel. At first, the old copper solution seemed obvious. Just put copper on the new metal hulls. But seawater turned that idea into a disaster. Copper and iron together created a chemical reaction. The saltwater acted like a battery. The iron hull began to corrode much faster. So shipbuilders needed a new method. They kept the chemistry but changed the delivery. Instead of copper sheets, they created anti-fouling paint. It could coat the steel safely. The key ingredient was often copper oxide, and copper oxide naturally has a reddish color. That is why the bottom of the ship became red. Not for beauty, but for chemistry. The paint created a hostile surface for barnacles, algae, and other hitchhikers. Every clean hull saved fuel. Every clean hull helped the ship move with less resistance. For a cargo ship, that difference matters. A tiny loss of speed becomes huge across an ocean. This is why the red part sits below the waterline. That is where the real battle happens. Above the water, the hull can be black, white, blue, or gray. Below it, protection comes first. Modern ship paint is far more advanced than the old formulas. Can be engineered in many colors. Technically, ships today could have green bottoms, blue bottoms, or even black bottoms. So why do so many ships still use red? One reason is tradition. Maritime culture is old and conservative. If something worked for generations, sailors remember it. But tradition is not the only reason. Red also creates a very useful contrast. When a ship is loaded, it sinks deeper into the water. The red line helps crews see that instantly. That visual boundary makes it easier to judge how much hull is underwater. It also helps crews monitor safety markings, like the plimsoll line on the side of the ship. If the ship sits too low, it may be dangerously overloaded. That simple line can warn the crew. So the red bottom is both history and function. It protects the ship and helps people read it. It began as a desperate defense against worms eating wooden hulls. Then it became copper chemistry painted onto steel giants. Next time you see a ship in harbor, look just below the waterline. That red paint is not decoration. It is a 300-year-old solution still doing its job. It connects wooden sailing ships, industrial steel hulls, and modern ocean transport. And all of it started because the sea never stops trying to take over anything we put in it. Simple things often hide the longest histories.